Hey everyone, and welcome to Pure Inspirational Energy, where we create content to inspire life change. The topic of this video is, what is enlightenment? What I'm going to share will be largely sourced from my own opinion, with definitions sourced from various places to consolidate a definition of the term that can be accepted by all parties regardless of belief. Enlightenment is just as much a sought-after state, as it is a topic of controversy, and it seems in this day and age subjective belief is becoming more common. A simple search of what is enlightenment on a search engine does not give proper cadence to the expansiveness of its definition. It is ultimately undefinable, yet defined in depth with complexity from various sources. Historically, the Great Age of Reason from the late 17th to 19th century is defined as the explosion of scientific knowledge that propelled the world into a new era of innovation and changes. With the expansion of the printing press, the entire world was rushed into an age of increased literacy with the availability of educational literature. Some argue that education enlightens the mind to the truths of the physical world's operation, and that the sciences enabled mankind to continuously make improvements on the research documented. The unity of research around the world allowed the entirety of the results of experimentation to be shared without the necessity of spoken word to transfer said knowledge, eradicating the necessity for the oral tradition of the passing down of knowledge and wisdom and transferring the information onto the text that lasts generations. The printing press is recognized as the leading precursor to the great education of mankind that brought us to the modern era we know today. All spiritual books that we know of are a result of the printing press and have a direct correlation to the growth and expanse of the minds, bodies, and spirits of today. An excerpt from Wikipedia titled Enlightenment in Buddhism has this to say. The term enlightenment was popularized in the Western world through the 19th century translations of the German-born philologist Max Muller. It has the Western connotation of general insight into transcendental truth or reality. The term is also being used to translate several other Buddhist terms and concepts, which are used to denote insight, knowledge, the blowing out of disturbing emotions and desires, and the attainment of supreme Buddhahood known as Samyak Sambodhi, as exemplified by Gautama Buddha. It seems that the term enlightenment then is largely borrowed from the Eastern traditions of belief. It is attached to the idea of escaping a cycle of suffering known as samsara, through the renunciation of behaviors that are believed to cause such suffering, and through this practice to be reborn as a better being with the end goal of escaping the reincarnational cycle. It is the Eastern tradition that strongly believes in the concept of reincarnation, and what you do in this life follows you to the next life, where you will live out the suffering that you had caused in the life previous. This is the source of karma, a word many are familiar with. An excerpt from the same Wikipedia page states, an ordinary person, or puthujana, is trapped in the endless cycling of samsara. One is reborn, lives and dies, in endless rebirths, either as a deva, human, animal, male or female, neuter as well, ghost, asura, hell being, or other various entities on different categories of existence. An ordinary entity has never seen and experienced the ultimate truth of Dharma, and therefore has no way of finding an end to the predicament. It is only when suffering becomes acute or seemingly unending that an entity looks for a solution to, and persisting, finds the Dharma, known as the ultimate solution or truth. In this definition, we see that everyday people are labeled as puthujana, which is translated to English to without knowledge. This returns us to the beginning of the video, where I mentioned the great age of reason and that knowledge is connected to enlightenment. In this case, the Buddhists believe that this lack of knowledge is one of the core reasons for this continuation of suffering, and that by gaining knowledge of what afflicts them, and how much there is beyond the world of the senses, and to be aware of the path of their liberation, they gain the choice to follow it, and begin their ascent from this cycle to be reborn in better lifetimes by working through the karma, a collection of supernatural debt, and a force that exists to create balance throughout the universe with all the actions taken, given an equal reaction. From what we've discussed so far, enlightenment is a title given to one who has applied knowledge in his or her life with the goal of expanding their potential as a being in mind, body, and spirit to overcome their cycle of suffering known as samsara. This would be combining the Buddhist philosophy with the Western view of the accumulation of knowledge as a main drive to expand worldly innovations and powers. It seems there is a middle path that many choose to follow, which is the accumulation of riches, finances, and worldly development alongside the spirit. This is common to see in Western-style motivational and inspirational coaching content, as many young men today are seeking to grind to get the fancy cars and status symbols. A quote from an article on BuddhistStory.net states a quote from the Buddha, "Hunger is the greatest illness. Similarly, one cannot have peace of mind when one is excessively worried about financial affairs, such as debts, and therefore, for householders in the world, poverty is suffering. For lay people, therefore, poverty creates suffering both on a personal and social level, and hence for them, woeful in the world is poverty and debt. So, it seems that poverty is connected to suffering, and everyone wants to escape such a lack, and it creates a focus that sinks an individual in the pit of their own desperation. There seems to be a strong mention of the middle way, as stated in the same article. Happiness is procured by recognizing a balance between economics and ethics, right and wrong consumption, and achieving the middle way between materialism and asceticism. We can take from this that the chasing of riches obsessively and the complete lack of it are connected to suffering, and that one must strive for the middle way of balance and harmony with one's self-development in physicality, spirituality, and mentality, one's work and finances, and one's relationship altogether, avoiding extremes and uplifting the sense of harmony and balance in experiences. This then points to extremes being the source of suffering, and then Buddhist beliefs put a strong emphasis on this fact. This definition of enlightenment would then be far more attainable to the common man, to teach balance and moderation in life in all levels with a checklist. To reach such a state, we could definitely bring on great peace in this world. There are going to be so many rich people as society defines it today. However, we were in a mindset of balance and appreciation collectively for what we have currently, modest and balanced with materialism and asceticism in our world, we could mirror this balance in which we choose to live everywhere. We would have far less waste and trash and pollution. We would live happier, simpler lives and truly break the consumer's programming of always requiring more. This is a great wisdom that all could accept in giving our world a step towards the ethereal concept of enlightenment. I believe this only scratches the surface of what enlightenment can be, and further videos would do great justice for the concept. That leads us to our pure inspirational question. How can you expand your personal concept of enlightenment today? Thank you for coming, and please leave a comment below and I will give my honest reply. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified for the next video. Follow me on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and more to come. Likes and engagement are very much appreciated. Leave me a message on Instagram or Facebook and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay inspired.